What's on, where, and when. It's the Talk of Nelson. NBS Talk Nelson.
Banking for life means trust, stability, and confidence.
You're there for the lifetime, and NBS providing that right through.
Welcome back to the Couch Crew Sports Show, brought to you by the Turf Hotel and proudly supported by NBS. I'm Chris Butler, back once again with me, Ryan Skippy Stewart. Nice to have you back, mate.
Yeah, good to be here in a new location within the venue.
There's a little bit of painting going on, so we've been shifted.
Yeah, it's quite
but
nice.
You'll notice behind us, Stan's been up late creating 150 in Spates cans behind us, so I'm not too sure what that's about. Presumably they're 150 years old.
Yeah, good celebration, yep.
So, so new location on the stage. Coming up on the show, we're talking hockey, netball, rugby, football, the Nelson Giants, Super Rugby, and also All Whites. Actually, we've got a test match tonight. They're kicking off at Lords, batting off at Lords, Brendan. So our special guest this week is Brendan Hodgson. Nice to have you here, mate.
Yeah, thanks so much, Chris. Yeah.
Hey, look, tell us a little bit about your background. So you're a local man, are you? You're born and bred?
Yes, just another Stoke local for the show here. Yes,
I know.
Stoke born and bred. I let myself down at one point. I lived on Marsden Road. Otherwise, it's been a street either on or off of Nayland Road my whole life. So they're deeply immersed here locally. So I suppose the turf's a bit of a home game for me.
I assure you, we do cast our net wider trying to get guests in, but they all seem to be originally from Stoke. Somewhere along the line.
Yeah, so I suppose I didn't really have much choice to sort of get immersed in the local sporting side of things here.
Right, and so tell us about how, why was it sport for you?
Yeah, I sort of came from both sides of my family are reasonably sporting. Mum's good West Coast stock, and sort of, she was a nice golfer and things like that. And sort of, Craig and Mark the Goldie cousins on that side. So a couple of, nice rugby players there, and I was too soft for that, which that always give us a hard time. But probably more on the Hodgson side. My grandmother, Geraldine, ran Nelson netball for a long time. Father was quite involved across a number of sports, and I guess I probably had a ball or a bat in hand at a young age, and probably one of the kids that ended up sticking with it. But yeah, against a better value judgment there for some period, but sort of as time got on, sort of managed to make a few sides as I got a bit older. But yeah, I probably made a few teams just because Dad was the coach as I was younger. So come through that, and yeah, here we are.
So, Hoddy, again, knowing you now for quite a while, when I first moved to Nelson, got to know pretty quickly that you had a massive calendar of sport. If you ever wanted to catch up with you, it would either be at a football ground, a basketball court, a cricket pitch, or at the bowls club. So growing up with all these codes involved and being part of it and seeing your dad, again, play multiple sports as well, what sport really stood out to you, and which was the one that you sort of, as a kid growing up, was that one that really sort of drove you to get into sport?
Yeah, I think my starting point was cricket. I knew that Dad had been involved in sort of the glory days of the Hawke Cup, and sort of grew up around, the Edwards boys, and, with some of the famous names, Rackley, Pearce, ended up, growing up with Greg Chitty, Luke Toynbee, some of those guys that were like coming from famous Nelson names in the 80s. And so I think cricket was first and foremost. Obviously, Kiwi cricket's sort of one of the earlier sports to get into as well. And then as time went on, took up football in 97. I think this is my 30th year in a row at Suburbs. Probably be the last one as well. And then as time went on, a little bit of basketball. Terrible player. Strong elbows and 5 hard fouls normally, but sort of ended up on the whistle there because the $3 or $5 a game was better than getting a paper run. Yep. And sort of that led to doing some National League games. But the bowls it's something that my father was really well involved in as an administrator at the Stoke Bowling Club. Had sort of an invitation singles tournament for a lot of years. It was like the cream of the crop for players in the country, and Air New Zealand were behind that. So everyone was basically getting flown here to play in a big singles event. So I cut my teeth around there, sort of, marking singles games and things like that from like 10, 11, and that side of the game always appealed to me. And managed to play a little bit. Just had a couple of seasons playing with Shannon McElroy before I chucked it in, and managed to tick a couple of boxes there and
Lovely.
take the titles and move on. So it's bowls is a great game, but not really with a young family. I think leads to a few divorces.
Yeah.
So your father, you've mentioned him a few times, Wayne Hodgson, and well known in the cricket circles in the region. So can you tell us a little bit about him and what he achieved in cricket?
Yeah, well, played first class cricket for Central Districts. Played in the famous, the second sort of Nelson heyday of the Hawke Cup as well, when they were sort of back into the 70s, early 80s, where they're pretty invincible. I think at that point he got 265 against Taranaki, which is, I think, still the third highest score in Hawke Cup cricket. I think Mick Kinzett holds the record, and it's only a half a dozen more or something like that. So, maybe left a couple out there, but this coming out of the stories from that era, just pretty amazing stuff about teams that come here and thought they had Nelson Bede, and then they cop Jock Edwards, or like Gus had come out at 9 or 10 and get runs, and I think there's Waltz would take a stack of wickets. Like some of the guys that are still legends around town that were part of that, like just to have that generation of athletes all together, all cricketers, and also some guys that came from out of town and joined them. Like pretty, there were times that Wakatu would have 7 or 8 first class cricketers.
Quite strong, wasn't it?
So that was quite strong, and also I think their dad ended up being sort of a scratch golfer and played a number of age group sports for Nelson. So I was always been chasing my tail there, but So I suppose growing up there, it was quite obvious you always sort of hotties boy. Never really felt any pressure to do anything there, but I know that when I happened to jag a national lawn bowls title, I did ring him up and say, that's one thing that I've got that you haven't. So
that's right.
So that was it probably did eat away at me, given how keen I was to give him a bell about that.
Yeah. So just on that, how do you talk about your memories of the cricket growing up? Just Nelson as a sporting sort of region, and it always has been. Growing up, was there sporting memories that stood out for you that maybe you went and watched, or anything around sport? Because again, you've been here for a long time as a local, and Nelson have done well in many sports and many competitions, but what's the ones that stand out for you? And
I suppose, aren't we so lucky here? Like, we punch above our weight so much as a region. But for me, probably the earliest days were that National League at Guppy Park. For me, probably don't really recall the Rutherford Park days, but Batchram Surrey and some of the greats, like Jason Pine was one that was sort of
that's right.
bit deep in folklore, and we'd always go along with Dave Edwards and Jock Edwards and a group of guys that were probably quite unkind to the opposition keepers. We'd change ends at half time, and at the town end there was a tin fence, and you'd sit there and bang your feet. And whenever there was a corner, Piney would sort of charge up, and everyone's going, "Up you go, Piney!" Like he was, obviously pretty young at that point, Jason, but pretty famous, I suppose, and obviously a likable character as well, and he's gone on to have a good career in his own right in broadcasting. But that was special. Also, I mean, the Giants, how good is it still? But sort of best show in town over the years, and just loved getting along to those with Dad. And I think the bit of the sledging come out there. Anytime we're courtside, it'd always be into the opposition import or things like that, which has been embarrassing as a kid. But even like that's still the test of time, the Giants, hasn't it? So they're probably the first two early things, and then just the first class cricket at Trafalgar Park was always special because 45-meter square boundary, you weren't far from the action there. So we talked about Trafalgar Park and some of the, like in hockey, they'd played Pakistan or India, and I remember the travelling Australian team. I can't remember who they played, whether it was a New Zealand selection or Nelson Bay selection. Jock Edwards, I think, got 90 in that game. Did he get 99 and 49 or something like that? Yeah.
But, just to have those teams at Trafalgar Park,
awesome.
It was awesome, and we kind of miss that now.
I think there was a Nelson and Marlborough combined side, which is just so hard to fathom now playing against the Australians. Or I recall there's a West Indian side played Central Districts when Dad was there. Seen the picture, and like Dad was 6'3", and he's like tiny compared to some of the guys.
Well, what was amazing for us as school kids is our teacher at higher school was Tony Walsh, who played with Jeff Rackley, and quite a good bowler apparently. We didn't know. And then one day this bus pulled up, and then this car pulled up, and it was Jock Edwards out of the car, and he walked over to us, and then this bus pulled up and turned out to be the Australian cricket team. All got off the bus, all came onto the school grounds, and then we had a cricket pitch on the front field, and they bowled softballs towards us, and Jock Edwards was decided he'd have a bat, and he was just hitting them so far and high in the sky, and we running into the next paddock to try and catch them. And when you think about that, what a fantastic experience is, for them to be able to do that. And so that's one of my questions. And Skippy wrote this because he's talking about in the generations of local sport that you've been involved in. I think he's saying decades. What kind of changes have you seen in local sport? What's different about those kid memories in the 80s and what it looks like today?
Yeah, it's a intriguing question, really. I suppose every sport sort of becomes a little bit cyclical, doesn't it? And certainly cricket-wise, reasonably well involved there, sort of running the Stoke club out the back here, and the quality of senior cricket, obviously, compared to years gone by, is probably a reflection of why rep cricket's not quite as strong as it is. And we've won the Hawke Cup a couple of times in the last 10 years, which I was lucky to be a part of, but yeah, realistically, so far from those days in a cricket sense. But then you look at something like basketball, and like overall participation's just through the roof. I would say probably the depth in the top club leagues maybe not there at the moment, and that might be sort of costing the Giants at present, the fact that maybe a lot of their coin does get tied up in trying to get tall black quality locals into town to then play, and then you can't get so many imports. But I think if you look at football going through the roof participation wise, and also realistically, like the first division is probably as strong as it has been for a while as well. And I think that's possibly due to the fact that there's ambition that you can go and play Southern League, both men and women. But I guess that the big one's rugby. Like you look at that, and it's sort of the Markov obviously been strong, but you look at the club competition and you see some teams. I'd say Stoke are away to Central. Like it wouldn't surprise you if you see their team list go up and there's only 2 or 3 reserves at times. Like rugby just looks like it's in for a pretty tough time at the moment. And I suppose, sadly on the back of some of the head knock stuff, like, mum and dad probably aren't consigning the young fellas to tackle, and that's going to be very interesting. So obviously grew up in a time, recall Mark Milne hitting the post against Scotland, and Nelson Bays would have achieved the sort of unthinkable there. And like those rugby memories are pretty special, obviously beating Bay Pointy in 99 as well. So I think that, obviously some come and go. That's sports that I've been involved in, but I think it's, as time goes on, it's so hard to compare across eras, isn't it? I suppose if you look at like a Don Bradman, everyone goes, it wasn't not the same. Well, no one's averaged within 30 of his 99.94, have they? So I think you can safely say he's the best. But I suppose as time goes on, like Nelson stands the test of time in terms of punching above our weight in something at any one time, really, don't we?
Yeah.
Certainly do.
So through the years, you've been at many clubs, every football club and every bowls club, and people we have characters. So, what are some of the people or characters that you hold in fond memories that you've bumped into or worked with in the past within the clubs that you've been in, and then just some stories about those.
Yeah, well, I suppose there's too many to name them all. I'm going to miss off a legend here somewhere, but I have to start probably with the late Jock Edwards. Good friend of my father's, and we spent a lot of time together. Grew up with his boys. We're still great mates, and just the most charismatic man. Obviously, you'd hear the stories of what he got up to, and people say, how good he was. Like Dennis Lilly bumping him, and he's, where did you learn to hook, Sonny? And he's saying, I'm learning as I go, sir. Right, just never short of a word, and amazing to sort of grow up with Jocko around. But personally, Ian Coles. Colesy, like my best friend's father, but we sort of grew up with him as a coach and a father figure, and also playing alongside him. Like we're playing for the Suburbs Masters at 14, 15, just coming on for the last quarter of an hour, and being around some of the legends that were in that side, like obviously Bigsy and Eric James, Dave Bryden at that point, Richard Hayward, like I think they had 30 guys on the books, but whoever turned up was like genuinely a sporting legend. So that was pretty special.
I mean, you talk about Richard Hayward being a good cricketer. Man, what a good footballer.
Yeah, lovely footballer. Roger Pearce was in there as well. He wasn't too bad. I would say that they're probably the main ones. Obviously, Bigsy being your father-in-law, like another charismatic character. I obviously don't go for too many haircuts with him these days, but that side of things is always pretty. But we are blessed to have a stack of legends in town, really.
Yep.
So across football, cricket, bowls, you've already mentioned a national title. Have you got any particular fond memories of your sporting career that really stand out?
Yeah, the bowls was a wee treat, really. I think won the pathway pairs it was at that point. So he had to win the Nelson centre pairs. And then the next one, I won the centre pairs with Shannon McElroy, and then he got in a play fight at the Burnside pairs and broke his arm. So I ended up with a fella, Gary Watson, as a substitute. And so we went and we won you had to beat the Marlborough and Canterbury sides and then go to the national one. We lost our first game by about 35 in a round robin competition, but managed to come home and somehow win that. So that was special. Captaining Nelson to win the Hawke Cup was pretty cool. I felt like I was in the team as a designated captain because I think I got about 13 runs for the season. And but yeah, I suppose the thing about Hawke Cup cricket is that you need toughness and you need leadership. And we had enough talent throughout the side that we could sort of carry me at 9 to bring that toughness. And we had a great culture. BJ Barnett did a great job as coach, and Ollie Jones-Allen, who went on to be the skipper, was manager. Just a really tight-knit leadership group, and sort of won Chapel Cup that year as well. I was manager for that. We reversed the roles, and Ollie was skipper. So that was a pretty special year. And I suppose the big one, something dear to my heart is in my 30th year for Suburbs, is the Seals winning Division 1 in 2015 and 16 on the back of being forced into promotion by dear Clive Beaumont. So, yeah, we sort of went up there with a few conditions that we would have 1 o'clock kickoffs and
I remember.
Yeah, and took everybody by surprise the first year. And then the second year, I think everyone knew what they were in for and couldn't do anything about it. So that was one of those true underdog stories, and a bit of a shame that the next year, for whatever reason, it didn't quite pan out. I think the club reserve side were basically non-existent, and the pathway wasn't really there at that point, and we folded up. And since then we've come back and we're going okay in Division 2. But yeah, looking back on those years, I think that every Saturday that you're in the sheds after, looking around going, Richmond had Ben Harris at that point and went on to win the Golden Boot in the National League. There were some pretty tidy sides, like Nelson College. They were in the thick of a very good period there. So, I remember that Philip Rollo wrote the first article, and the headline was "Seals are no joke in fresh season," and he sort of said, we might finish 5th or 6th. So that's probably the one that just the whole underdog sense of that was pretty cool as well.
But not some, there's some good players in that side, wouldn't there? Because some of them, decided that they were going to hang out their boots, and but you could certainly tell that the skill level was pretty high, wasn't it? It's just really perhaps the training wasn't so high.
Yeah, well, we had some very nice players over the years, and some might more that come along after that. But during that period, I think the second year we only conceded 5 goals.
Yeah, right.
And with the back four, Neil Connell, Matt Elliott, Matt Aloff, guys but Matt Elliott had such an injury-plagued career, and once he stopped training, he was fit every week. So maybe there was something in that.
Yeah.
But yeah, there was certainly some nice football. Wasn't even, I think, they picked up sort of Riley Hames and Sam Maxwell at that time, and they had sort of come out of the Falcons at that point. So whilst we joked that we were a pub side, it did give guys an option to come back into the game, like Brandon Kay and some of those fellas that with the family ties. It was a bit difficult, but could still turn out and just front up on a Saturday. And yeah, wonderful days. Yeah, especially when Ben Harris was at Richmond. I think it was that year they won their first 7 games, 21 points after 7 rounds. And I actually see Tahuna going quite well at the moment. It's all over the socials, and they're not quite 7 from 7. I'm thinking, geez, boys, I've seen this go wrong before. So here's your warning, Tahuna lads. Just make sure you get to the end of the season first, because I feel like Richmond got about 4 points down the stretch.
The second part of it wasn't great.
But Ben was such a charismatic figure and wasn't shy to tell people that it was particularly nice to rub his nose in. Of course, Steve Clark was the gaffer there at that point, and he had gone on Facebook at one stage, sort of giving us a bit of a hard time as well. So that one was sweet.
Nothing better than some
it's a long season, isn't it?
Yeah, it is very much so. So, Hoddy, you talk about bowls and your involvement. Bowls is one of those sport that some people look at and think it's old people that play it and it's a retirement sport. What do you think the perception people get wrong about how competitive bowls actually is and the skill level involved in it?
Yeah, I suppose if we look at my, I was the Nayland College Bowls coordinator in 2005, and like as a school, we were a joke. Like
Yeah.
my cousin Amy, Amy Brenton at that point, now Amy McElroy's since been to Com Games, married to Shannon, who's apparently quite good at the game.
Yeah.
They won a national secondary school peers, who are Misty Arnold, and then my sister, and then a cousin went through there, which is Amy's sister. So it was quite obviously a family-based sport. But we had another fellow, Josh Thompson. Like we were the best secondary school in the country for like a good period at Nayland. And I suppose through that period, then there were James Pugh, myself, the fellow Hamish Wilson, and that's gone on to sort of win a couple of national titles as well. Like Nelson had this real peak of young players, and like Katie Scott was a couple of years before. She's played a lot for Nelson. And then obviously now we see that Nelson in the last 2 years won into centres. The Stoke won the women's interclub last year, men's interclub this year. Both of those teams didn't qualify the following year. This year Nelson won the women's and beat Stoke. So sometimes you can win a national one, the next year you don't even get to go because of how strong the neighbours are. So I think that realistically, like there's such a perception there, but here we're lucky that we've got a lot of players in probably the right age group, that 35 through 55, 60. And that's again like sports cyclical, but that's probably a sign of the investment that was put into the game here 15, 20 years ago. Lucky to have Dave Edwards here as in terms of former national coach. Like that obviously is no surprise that particularly the ladies that he's looked after have got a good setup. But I guess if you we talk about the generation of those cricketers and some of the fine athletes that come through there, like how good Joe and Val, I suppose what rubs off on them, but also the other players that are in that team, like Kay Hammond, like she's been a fantastic softballer, golfer and things like that over time as well. So I guess that's the thing, you end up with like a generation of friends that play a game together and then, let's try this. And I suppose hopefully one day, once yourself and Walshy and that come down the bowling club, mate.
That's right.
Looking forward.
Get a second win.
And sports need that. They probably need a couple of people of the right age group to pull through some others. So yeah.
Well, on that, because there's a lot of discussion around reduction in funding, and obviously, the community funders. There's a lot of pressure on those groups to, obviously there's that argument about poker machines, and that's where, a lot of the funding goes to community organisations, but then, government trying to reduce funding. Everybody, sponsorship's tighter. Everybody is trying to look to cut costs in areas, and sporting organisations, not the only ones, but they often are copping it left, right and centre. But, when you look at community engagement from your perspective, what does sport do for the community and the kids?
Yeah, from a junior sense, I think it's enormous, isn't it? Like you look back on sport, it gives you a sense of belonging, being part of something. And I probably didn't truly appreciate that from an administration standpoint until the last couple of years. Like Stoke New World have come on board with Stoke Cricket, and we've got 200 members now, of which there's like 120 kids that don't pay a sub thanks to them. And, even if it's only $40, $50, $60, like that's money back in mum and dad's pocket. And really seeing those kids and the parents come up, it's like so thankful. And, we wouldn't have normally chosen cricket, but it was the cheapest option. Like obviously that's sad, but that's pretty special as well, that you can get a sponsor that will make that achievable. And I think that, obviously there's still some businesses out there that are going quite well, but it's the same ones that are being asked for coin all the time. It's very difficult. But you've touched on the pokey funding, the class 4 grants, like that's an interesting point. I suppose like you would have been in the thick of sports administration when the smoke-free thing came through, and no alcohol, no tobacco sponsorship. We'll fix it up with smoke-free, and it's there, and then it's gone. And it's like, they've had to then find different funding channels at that point. So, obviously, seeing the...
Well, I think the charity community organisation stayed the bacon. It was basically your local pub, and a lot of sport organisations, not everyone had club rooms, some did, but they normally had a relationship with the local pub, and that's where everyone met. And generally that's where the funding came from. But now it's total different, and understandable because of the gambling thing. Politically, it's not great, and We learn a lot more now about alcohol and bad food and, and gambling habits. But what's replacing it? Because all of that money that comes out of that goes into building a community.
100%.
And it gives the kids something to do. You build friendships for life. So I guess the question is, where does it come to? Because private business can't always afford, especially these days, to fund it.
Yeah, I often say to the guys out here, like a cricket ball is 120, 130 bucks now, and it's over the course of 26 matches plus uniforms and ground fees, and like an actual fee for someone for a year is maybe 600 bucks, and they might be getting charged too.
Yeah.
So I suppose that at the moment, like that funding is keeping sport accessible at all levels.
Yeah.
But it certainly would be much more difficult if it wasn't the case. But even at the moment, trying to get people to pay a sub is
tough.
Or especially to just get registered.
Yeah.
But without the payment bit, like, I don't know. I feel like as time goes on, maybe I've sort of come from a generation of people that are pretty happy to get their hands dirty in sport admin, but you sort of, volunteer wise, even people just to do the basic requirements to take part in sport, like, just have to hold everyone's hand all the time. So, but that makes it difficult as well.
Yeah. Yeah. And again, when it comes to fees as well, Brendan knows a sports club, the actual sports club you're part of doesn't get the whole lot. And I think people have this perception where if you get charged $170 to play football for the season, the club gets $170. They don't know the 30%, 33% that goes to New Zealand football, 27% that goes to mainland football. They're rough numbers. It might not be that, but you're saying they're not getting that. And we're getting charged ground fees and stuff like that. It is getting tough.
There's so many of these sports with like that feed up model, isn't there? And cricket's actually one that does go the other way somewhat. The money does filter down from NZC to CD to Nelson Cricket and out to the clubs, and that's pretty special. Because again, as I say, we're probably charging 200, 250, and that's like goes to running the club only. So definitely, it's a barrier though, isn't it?
It is 100%.
You've played quite a few different sports. You've been around. You've been a young fella in a sporting family. So, what advice would you give, or do you give, to young players about being involved in sport?
Yeah, it's quite an interesting one. I ended up doing a sport and rec degree after a couple of years out of school, and the Canadian literature there was pretty special, where it's like the Canadian sport for life, and that's just have a crack at everything. And a lot of that was skill based and not necessarily one sport or the other, but there's obviously crossovers with various things. I've actually just taken up golf against my better judgment, and I'm terrible. And everyone goes, "Oh, you're a good cricketer. You should be a good golfer." But maybe I'm too cricket and not enough golf, and that's the bottom hand wanting to hit everything over mid wicket, and actually the golf ball going over extra cover and things like that. But I think just like dabble in everything, and we probably do get put into boxes a little bit with board. And the other thing is, I recall, like, as a young fellow, I was probably quite lucky. Like, you could play everything. You would fly back from footy and straight into basketball and things like that. And you hear in more recent times that people have been made to pick one sport or the other, and that I don't really like that. And I know Skippy might disagree with me here, but you look at like football academies, we've got kids training 2-3 times a week, and then a game. Like, what is that stopping them from having a taste of some other things as well? So I definitely think diversify. But then I guess if you're good at something and you feel like you're on the pathway, you can see why there's the appeal in that academy kind of side of things. But then, if you're in there sometimes and you don't make it, like, where does that leave you as well?
So what advice do you give them, when they come along and there's that difference between wanting to win and then some kids just want to participate?
Yeah, I think
from your point of view,
just like even to like grown men now, I just tell them just to play the game with a smile on their face. And I'm probably, I've been pretty tough to some referees over the years and things like that. But, having a good time doing it, and we'd always go up to them after and say thanks so much. But obviously, spending a bit of time on the whistle, I should be better there. But typically, I think that culture's just the king in sport at whatever level, isn't it? And having the enjoyment, like, geez, if you're not enjoying it, there's not much point. But yeah, as I say, on the back of the cricket stuff out the back fence here this year, and just the kids that have got access to that, thanks to Stoke New World and a lot of our other kind funders. Like just seeing those kids that may not be playing sport otherwise, I think the smile on your face certainly helps you relax when you got a penalty or something, Skippy, as well, doesn't it?
Still injured from that one, mate. So it's 7 weeks.
Go, did he?
I got injured hitting a penalty, popped my quad.
Oh, right.
First game of the
Right,
season,
right.
haven't played since.
It went in though.
It did go in, but I haven't played since. 7 weeks. Yeah. Keep an Ed Physio Institute open down the road there. I'm down there every day. But yeah, coming back.
Well,
I think that's a big thing for kids to understand, and touching on that as well as enjoying the football. I think football's one of them. I think rugby's probably the same. They've got these kids that think that they have to fast track their career at 12 to become a professional footballer.
Oh, and I think the other thing's like just you have to find yourself some heroes and people that you want to grow up to be like or whatever. I was quite fortunate, like I mentioned Colsey in a football sense, but my uncle Mike Hodgson played at Tahuna when they had quite a good side as well in the 90s, and would go along there with Chris Edwards and John Bryden in goal, and Butler was there at that point.
Oh, gee, that's right. That's right.
Yeah,
That side. We played against him.
Yeah. So I'd spend a lot of time
Lindsay
going.
Scott.
Lindsay Scott. Yeah, so I'd go along and watch quite a bit of that as well. And just my uncle would take these corners with like left foot in swingers on one side and right foot on the other. And I'm like, geez, that stuck in my mind so much that you need to be dual footed or. And I suppose for me it was like that was my such an easy sort of footballing hero to have.
Yeah.
And he was just a guy in the local first division who in his own right was a nice footballer and obviously a lovely bloke and uncle. I'm obliged to like him, but you just don't look too far from home for your heroes at times.
Yeah, that's right. You see someone play. I mean, obviously I used to have a colouring in book of world football players, and obviously Pelé and all those guys. But it was going down watching the older guys play at the park and going, geez, I wouldn't mind playing like that. And it's what you visit, it's what you used to watch on TV. But also, this pressure about becoming the best, and the disappointment of not making sides and all that kind of stuff. And I guess trying to teach kids the reason for doing it. And we've interviewed over the years some fairly decent players, and it's almost like the better they are, the less they care about the end result. I just like playing footy with my mates.
Yeah.
But they're just naturally good, and it frustrates the hell out of you because you go, I wish I was that good. It's that competitive streak that you have in you, and I guess trying to balance kids not to get too down if they're not doing so well. Just enjoy it. Just have fun.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I was fortunate to play some rep cricket at sort of 17 onwards, but from about 12 through 17, didn't make any Nelson sides.
Yeah.
Sort of might have played in under 15B or something like that. And I guess a lot of kids in that period that didn't make teams got disenchanted and then
Don't play.
But all of a sudden you go from being a battling off spinner that batted a little bit to you get big and strong and you can open the bowling and life changes so quick in kids as well.
Yeah.
Like the sport, the attributes, and if you're well-rounded or whatever, it falls into line. And how many surprise you as a coach as well?
Yes, heaps. So it is. Stay in it, enjoy it. Yeah, got a long time to play sport.
I saw that Vardy on Netflix.
Oh, that's ridiculous.
I mean, that was such a great story.
Yeah,
because
and the Bolton site, them playing in the evenings.
Yeah, that's right.
Incredible.
Yeah.
Incredible.
Just that's what he wanted to do, and he just, it was just someone that believed in him and started putting him out there.
There has to be a bit of that out there. Like, imagine how many good cricketers are in the back streets of India and Pakistan that no one ever sees.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Yeah, definitely. All right, Hoddy. Well, that's great insight, mate.
Lovely. Thanks so much.
Interesting to see, such a wide background in sport.
Yeah, wide background. Obviously, master of not many sports, but a battler across a few of them, and had some lovely memories. Anyway,
actually, we haven't even talked about your refereeing, but we've got the Giants coming up, so we'll talk more about that and get your.
I'm allowed to be a fan 15 years on, I think.
But now this is the area where we normally say to our guests, look, you've got to put your wider hat on and see what your sporting knowledge is like. Well, I don't think there's going to be any drama in this one because you played them all. But we kicking off with hockey, and now this is interesting, Skippy, because we've got Tasman Black women last round taking on Federal women, and the result is pending.
Okay.
And then Stoke versus Waimea, the result is pending. Surely you can't have two controversial games.
Well, Sunday were they played on Sunday or Saturday because the weather was
Do you
atrocious.
think
Do you think
yeah,
they
but that's
finished?
the turf, aren't they?
Yeah, but
Do you think the
Yeah,
turf is
weather the
flooded?
turf.
I don't know. Did they?
This is going to really throw your form lines coming into this.
Because I was flying in hockey. It's just really done me in. So,
So we don't know what's going on there.
yeah,
Maybe it was.
we'll leave that. We'll leave that to admin to sort that out. whatever's happening there.
Ryan will have to sort that one out.
Yeah, he'll be busy.
So the round for this weekend, we've got Waimea taking on Tasman Black.
Yeah, so why am I win?
Is that?
Yeah, think so.
Yeah, I think Waimea have been going pretty good over the last few years. I'll stick with them there.
Oh, jeez. Inside knowledge. Stoke taking on Federal.
I have to pick Stoke. Yeah, Stoke.
Yeah, I'm
Don't
probably
have to.
obliged to go with
Have to.
Stoke there as well. I'll go against Stoke later on, but I'll
Would it be
take
an uncomfortable beer here on a Friday night if I go against
He always
Stoke?
claims that.
Yeah.
Okay, in the men, and they did have some results actually. Waimea 4-2 over Tasman White. Tasman Black 3-0 over Stoke.
Yeah,
There you go.
Disappointing.
And Federal had the bye. So this weekend we've got Federal taking on Tasman Black.
How'd Federal go? I'll go Federal because they had the bye last week.
They'll be rested.
They'll be ready to go.
You got Federal going in fresh there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll take Federal there as well. Although Tasman Black will be buoyed by that result over Stoke last week. I think Stoke are up there on the table.
Well, there you go.
That's right. Well, Waimea are taking on Stoke, and Stoke lost last weekend.
Yeah. Geez.
Yeah, well,
What are you gonna do
that
now?
first and second on the table at the moment, Chris. I checked that one this morning.
Looked at it before he came.
Yeah.
Of course he has.
his research.
Of course he has.
That's right. But yeah, I'm going to go with Stoke in that one. Go with the Stoke lads up.
Yeah, I'll go with
Bounce
Stoke
back.
because Ryan will be playing, I would say.
That's right. He
Yeah,
plays for
Ryan will
Stoke,
be
doesn't
in.
he?
Yeah.
And they'll have a point to prove after last week's disappointing result. So,
Okay, Nelson Giants. Geez. Another loss against the Canterbury Rams. I mean, that was always going to be hard, wasn't it? 93-74 down in Christchurch. But having a bit of a run at it, aren't they? And really try and, going to have to try and dig themselves out of the hole.
yeah, it's a difficult one there. I see they added another import in Shane Gatling there, and he looked like he had a bit of upside, obviously straight off the plane. So, the Rams, a lovely side. I watched them play last night against the Auckland Tuatara, and they were down 10 points at quarter time, half time, three-quarter time, ended up losing by 3. And the Tuatara shot the lights out. So I think the Rams, the Giants shouldn't be too disenchanted with that result. The Rams are definitely a championship contender, but I think, realistically, the worm has to turn, doesn't it? So if they make that top 6.
I've got to mention, he used to ref NBL.
Yeah, refereed some games in the NBL, but
Don't know what the quality was like.
no, at that point in time, the league was quite a low-cost model. And
Did they pull you off scoring for bowls? And stuff?
Yeah.
has anyone got a whistle? Yeah. No, so I had done some age group stuff at that point in time. I sort of managed to do did a secondary school national final and did like a New Zealand under-20s final. So I was in the system, but it was sort of, you were just the next best ref in that area. So I think I might have done 35 games or something like that. Only 4 of them were outside of Nelson. So
Yeah, right.
that was quite hard growing up as a Giants fan and going along to games with Dad from 4 and 5. And, you're seeing the guys in club ball and playing against them to then put the different hat on. I did my first game at 20 as well. And
Wow.
I think if I had my mindset now, probably in my refereeing peak, obviously athleticism not so much, but I would be a bit stronger minded. It was very difficult, and especially on peak party time as well. You go to Molly's after, and then they'll be like, oh, everyone's out, and you ruin your Saturday night. But it was, and obviously the Giants have been. I was in the Wannabes 2 years earlier when the Giants won. And then you sort of have to put that hat aside and pick the whistle up. So I don't think I made too many friends. And I suppose I look back and there were a couple of games that were quite contentious. I think one of the first ones, I think my first call was on Boucher and then on it for a travel and then called a foul on him putting the ball back in. It's like, this guy's one of the best players in the country at that point in time. So it was interesting, but at 20, I certainly wasn't ready for it maturity wise.
What's it like in basketball reffing with the backlash from the players and the refs? You like football, you cop it. Do you cop it in basketball? Like rugby, they tend to yes or no, sir. It's a lot more discipline.
I think the interesting thing with basketball is especially with 3-person officiating, as you rotate round, you're basically next to a coach at one end of the floor, each play, one of the officials. So they can whisper some sweet nothings in your ear.
Yeah, I do see the coaches. They do.
And it is difficult. I feel like basketball is pretty open slather in terms of that. And I look back at the guys that were tough to ref, and love Phil to bits, and what a Nelson legend, but he asked the hard questions. And, I think, obviously Sammy Dempster's in the mix now, and I did a bit of club ball in the last 2 years, and he's a pretty tough taskmaster as a coach of Nelson College. So you just have to believe that you know the rules better than they do. And we'll have a rules test with Sammy maybe. But yeah, it certainly is. You're so close to obviously the players and the coaches.
So last time we talked about the Hawks side, and we wondered how strong they were going to be, and they did tip up the Giants.
Yeah, 102.96 that time. I will note that Jackson Ball has finished off with the Hawks now. He's off to college in the States. So I think he's probably been averaging 20-odd points a game for them. That'll be a hole.
Yeah.
But it was Rasmussen that lit up last time against the Giants. He had 39 or something. So
it was very good.
But I do think the Giants get the job done tonight.
Yep. Is that right?
Yeah, I think that Gatling's obviously got some running in the legs now. Probably ran off the jet lag against the Rams and had some time to get immersed in the setup. I think that they'll be pretty determined. I think they copped a pretty hard time on the socials on the back of Saturday night's result as well. It's a pretty supportive community here, but I think that there'll be a team that are out there looking to do their best.
Tonight. 100%.
And I definitely think they'll get the job done.
Yeah.
Good luck to them. Netball, and
here we go.
There was a rest on the weekend, but the lineup, it'll be tonight at the time of recording. So the Jacks taking on Nelson College for girls. They're ever improving, and this is the first of the new round, isn't it?
The new rules. Is this the skins
this
time?
Skins.
Yeah.
We learned about skins.
So if you're winning, you get a point for every quarter that you're winning.
Like indoor cricket.
Yes. So pretty cool. So
apparently it's not like golf, double equip.
No. We tried to throw that out last week. It didn't go down well. But yeah, so that'll be
double
interesting.
On the last quarter.
Annie says it will make the game a lot more interesting. So yeah.
And they're coming off a break for the long weekend.
Yes.
Yep. Yeah. So we talked about the Jacks, quite an old club. So I'm going to pick the Jacks to win that one.
Yeah, I think my grandmother was a life member of Jacks. So I'm probably obliged to go with them. But I do note they're top of the league as well at the moment.
Yeah, they're traveling well.
Yeah, easy.
Oh, here we go. Stoke versus Arue Waimea.
Got to go Stoke.
Oh, yeah.
I'll go Stoke.
I'm going to go with the Arue Waimea prices there.
Yeah, they're traveling pretty well at the moment. Waimea taking on F45 Richmond.
F45 Richmond are good. I remember Annie saying last week that they're a good side and they're going to come right. So maybe with the new format, this is the format that they wanted. And I'll go with F45 Richmond.
It's the business.
Yeah,
now,
start of it. Yep.
So what do they call it? It was sort of like grading rounds, but it looks as though these sides have held their places.
Yeah.
So, that's right. You can have a challenge from the second division, can't you?
Yeah, you can.
But obviously that didn't happen, or it did.
Yeah, I'll go Richmond there as well.
Look at that.
Okay, into the rugby and the South Island boys. Nelson College had a game, and we talked about Kings from Dunedin. We found out,
yes.
But geez, a strong side, 44, beating Nelson College 44-12, and that was at St Bede's College that was played. So unable to do the goods there in the championship. Waimea on fire, 65-12 over Waimea Combined, and I saw a couple of highlights of that game. So it looks like they're having a lot of fun. That's 2 wins out of 3 games. So Waimea Combined travelling well. Christchurch Boys High School Second Division is the next game for them.
So Waimea travelling again.
Yeah.
That's their third away game. Jesus, doing it tough.
That's right. But that'll be tough against Christchurch Boys.
Yeah, they'll be a good side
this year. But, Waimea travelling pretty well at the moment. In the, check this game out, on the 11th of June, it's a Thursday, and it's the derby, Marlborough Boys versus Nelson College. And the controversy last year.
There was a controversy, wasn't there? Yeah.
The kick through, wasn't it?
Yeah, there was, yes.
So the rule was, if it looks as though you're going to take a penalty and you shape to do it, and then did he do it off the tee?
Off the tee, it was, I think.
And then he kicked it to the corner and they scored. It was risky.
Yeah.
Came
off.
But it came off. But the whole point is that it was legal, but the rule, if you go to shape to kick, you've got to take the penalty.
Yeah.
So that was the controversy, wasn't it?
Oh, God. Didn't know that.
You'd just claim it was a bad shank, wouldn't you?
Yeah, that's right.
Dragged it.
Sorry about
Dragged
that.
it. Yeah.
What does that? Yeah, well, that's a good point. What if you do shank it and then catch it in the air and score? Is that a try?
It seems like quite a judgment there, Chris, doesn't it? But having watched the replay of that one, I think that the interpretation might have been incorrect there, possibly.
Correct from the referee. Okay, all right. So that's a huge game on the 11th of June. Stuffed Tasman Trophy, they had a break over the weekend. So the lineup, Kaharangi taking on Nelson. That'll be in away.
JB called Nelson the last time. Oh, so that was in the men's, wasn't it? Yeah, sorry, getting
Yes.
carried away. Yeah, Nelson have been struggling in the women's, haven't they? Yeah.
Well, sort of revitalised the women's side. So
Yeah, I'll still go with Karangi.
I think Kaharing at home be tough to roll there.
yeah, they're on fire at the moment. Maris women taking on Muteri, and Maris coming off a hefty loss. I think it was it to Waimea?
Yeah, it's
Can't
big
remember now.
score. I
I know
backed them.
Kaharangi it was.
I backed Mutri a couple of weeks ago and they won, so I'll stay with the Mutri ladies. Yep.
Yeah, I'll follow you in there, Skippy.
Yep.
Oh, really?
Yep.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Have you got it in for Maris G2? Or?
Well,
Wow.
I'm Mara's family, but I'm just
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
And he's going for Muteri.
Yeah.
Mutri's doing well.
How can you even show your face? Okay, all right, fair enough.
I just have to pick and choose areas where I'm going to get one over
Yeah.
them. You see, I'll just play it safe
I
there.
agree.
Just if you are out the Mutri way, Slotsy's got a new bar opened out there.
No,
This is from Marlborough, you
this is
goose.
Marlborough. The Muteri.
Oh, I got the wrong one. There you go.
Maybe I can't follow him in
Yeah.
anymore.
Can we change it?
Yeah.
You do that one.
What, geographically?
now.
Yeah, you can cut that one out, Chris.
Yeah, but you're right. Slotsy does have a pot in
Yeah.
the Muteri and
Yeah.
Nelson Bays or
There you go.
Tasman. But,
Yeah,
Plug.
I've seen a couple of the meals on the
Yeah, it
on the
looks good.
socials. It looks a joke. Yeah, it
Yeah.
look
Get
like a
out there.
slow cooked lamb shoulder or something with all the trimmings.
Stop. People will think we're getting paid.
yeah, that's right. Probably angling for a free pint out there.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
Slotsy, you reckon?
No chance.
So shout out to John and Jane who have taken over the Muteri Inn, they call it. So make sure you stop in on the way through. In the Stuffed Tasman Trophy for the men and big game, Maris taking on Waimea.
They're the top two teams, aren't they, at the moment?
Yeah,
Marist and Waimea. Yeah, I'll go Marist.
Yeah, Marist have been
Trevor.
flying at the moment, but intriguing fixture there for sure at the top of the table.
Central versus Stoke, and that's in Blenheim.
Oh, yeah, it's a tough one over there. Oh, yeah, I'm probably gonna have to go Central.
Yeah,
That's a tough ask.
I think I'll be taking Central there with the Stoke coming off the back of the bus trip.
All right, we'll
Yeah.
have to hide this weekend. Kaharangi versus Nelson. This would be a good game, actually.
Yeah, Nelson has said John was saying that he fancied them in that game at the
Well,
one
they
against
kind
Waimea, and
That's right. He felt that they hadn't really hit their strap.
yeah,
yet.
yeah. So I'll go off the back a bit of form and stay with Nelson.
Yeah, that's obviously a great result they've got there. So I'll be following Nelson in there as well.
Okay, all right. Super Rugby and Crusaders doing it over the Hurricanes, and they did talk about the Hurricanes being a B side, but I mean, some Cantabrians have pointed out that they had equal amount of players out. So Hurricanes had 13 out, and so did the Crusaders.
Yeah, you maybe had to question how much the Hurricanes wanted to win that one, and for maybe the repercussions of how it looked with the finals bracket. I think that there might have been. I'm not saying that they were laying down there, Chris. You wouldn't accuse anyone of match fixing, but
No.
possibly not overly motivated. But the Crusaders still did the job, and maybe that result might live rent free in the back of the Hurricanes' mind if they run into each other again.
And they've got another home game. Queensland doing it comprehensively against Fiji and Drua. And then we had Moana Pacifica getting the win.
Yeah, that's special. That
Ruined my
Isn't
picks.
it? It certainly did. I wouldn't have picked that, especially against the Brumbies, but 21-19 and absolutely wrapped. And there's still rumour about what's going to happen. The government obviously aren't going to bail them out, but then they're talking about some Hawaiian franchise. And I've got a memory that there was one quite a few years ago. There was a Hawaiian franchise that were trying to put a concept together to create a franchise. So that may be being revisited.
There was a look for the pro team in the OFC Pro Football League as well from Hawaii. There was a few inklings of maybe something happening there. So maybe joint franchise.
Yeah.
Football.
So hopefully someone comes to the party there. The Chiefs, and with their so-called B side, absolutely slapping the Blues. They played some beautiful football, 59-34.
yeah, they're certainly hitting their straps at the right time of the year.
And that's not even their strongest side. So they're looking
They've got
really
some
dangerous.
frightening depth there at the moment, though.
Yeah. Western Force doing it over the Waratahs. Aren't the Waratahs a disappointment this
They
season?
fell off.
31-25 at home. So and the Western Force only just missing out on the top six.
Playoffs.
7th. So here it is. It's the quarterfinals. It's not necessarily do or die, but Hurricanes, you would have to say, go through regardless because they would be the most winningest loser.
Yes.
Is that the terminology? I love it. Love
I
that.
think this whole concept is crazy.
People were talking about it in the radio the other day, and I was like, yeah.
You just go back to a top 4 and away you go.
Semis.
Well, why don't the top 2 have a rest?
Yes.
The other ones battle it out, and then you go through to
semis.
So you got a prelim final, then then semis, and then
I
final.
mean, obviously you've been involved in sport for a long time, but do you remember like 20, 30 years ago, so many various finals formats? Like I think once you got the post section or in the end of season and all sports, it was just knockout.
Yeah,
and then now it's like, you can float through here and first, and if you lose, you play here. I get that at the grassroots because if it's a 6-team comp like the local cricket comp and you've got a double round robin and it's only the top 2, you might be out of it halfway through. So it gives everyone. But like at the professional level, geez, I think it's obviously ticket sales and television rights.
It shows in the A-League. I don't think the minor premiers have won the A-League in years.
That's right. Exactly.
You get the dish and then you don't want it.
Exactly.
It's ridiculous.
Well, grand finals came out of league, really. Well, the big grand final day, and that's what everyone wanted to replicate.
Is rugby league not like the top 8?
No, but
Yeah,
even,
they are.
no, but even in the top 8,
Yes.
there's some. But then you can lose and be again the winner.
So you could be the 8th best during the season.
If
But
you
still win it.
If you're in the top 4, you're basically going to get 2 bites of the cherry,
Right,
unless something goes
But again,
really haywire.
if you
Yeah,
finish 8th, you're still in with a shout.
100%.
course.
You could go all the way. Mind you, they never do.
Yeah,
No.
Well,
true.
I can't remember that ever happening.
no.
It does tend to be, close to who's, winning the primary
It's form
minor
always
premiership.
isn't it?
But
Well, I suppose also like you've got the lead up to it that the top teams have probably been able to rest up a little bit,
Yeah,
whereas
yeah.
maybe the teams that are scrambling for 8th have been in finals mode for.
Sounds
A
very,
month.
very American to me. Very American playoffs, isn't it?
But anyway, Hurricanes versus the Brumbies. So that is at home.
Canes, you can't.
Yeah, the Canes are flying.
Can't
Okay.
beat the Canes.
Brumbies started off well.
Mm,
Have they hit the
that's it.
straps yet? Crusaders and Blues.
I'll probably go to the Crusaders, to be honest. Bit of form.
Yeah, Crusaders were impressive at the weekend. I think I'll have to stick with them there.
I think so. And then we've got the Chiefs and the Queensland Reds.
Yeah, it's only one winner there for me. Chiefs.
Okay, so under normal circumstances, you would have, based on the picks, Hurricanes, Crusaders, Chiefs going through, which would mean the Blues don't have to win this game.
Yes.
So there you go.
But then you've got the scenario where, potentially the Hurricanes go through anyway, so therefore the Blues. So if the Hurricanes lose, the Blues miss out.
They wouldn't do that, would
And
they?
then if the Blues win, the Crusaders, where did they get? 4th. So anyway, there are a couple of
There's some permutations there for sure. Yeah.
Definitely.
okay, football. Here we go. The Deliver Easy Chatham Cup and the result from the weekend 4-0 to Suburbs. So you didn't suffer from the heebie-jeebies and all the ghosts from the past, and you managed to do it from on the day.
Yeah, boys did well. Again, I spoke to you before, Chris, but I just hate this game for some reason. Our boys think that they just got to turn up, and the mindset sometimes isn't right. But yeah, we started well, got 2 early goals, and then sort of just managed the game from there. And yeah, it was good. Managed to get everyone on and involved. And Davor's got a really good young side there, but again, we had a lot more experience, I think, in certain positions.
So it wasn't in the past, it's been 5-0, 7-0. I mean, was it missed opportunity, or did FC?
We created chances, but they defended well. They worked hard, and you could see by the 70th minute some of their lads pulling up a cramp because they had worked really hard, and that was testament to them. And Davor rolled the boys on, and yeah, they were in the game, and yeah.
I suppose with the magic of the cup, like the longer that you leave a team like that in it as the underdogs, the more dangerous they are, as we saw a couple of years ago. So the 2 early goals might have just certainly settled you down a little bit.
Yeah, it deflated them a little bit, 100%. And again, especially the second one, because they sort of I think they got a corner after we scored our first, and sort of could have got themselves back into the game, and then we've hit them on the counter straight away and scored again, and sort of took our chances. And now I've got Nomads away and a bus trip next Sunday. They give us a Sunday kickoff, which is always brilliant for us in Christchurch on a Sunday. So we're playing Nomads in the next round, which is
Oh,
this
is that
weekend.
right? So
Yeah.
we obviously picked up that wrong. We thought it was Kashmir Tech.
No, that's the girls who've got Cash Tech.
Oh,
they're
right.
on the
Okay.
Kate Shepherd, they draw on Cash Tech.
So you got Nomads.
We got Nomads away on a
Right.
Monday.
Okay. And they were quite good last time, weren't they?
We were
But
good,
you-
and then we had 4 minutes of madness and conceded 3 goals. So
Right,
yeah,
so-
we'll be hoping.
So potentially you could get the goods there.
Yeah, we enjoy the cup, so yeah, we'll have a good go.
Kate Shepherd Cup, and didn't the girls do well? 5-0 against NW United.
Yeah, Cappy's
Played
got
great.
Yeah, David's got the girls going well, and Michelle, the assistant's been pushing the fitness side of it, and they look really fit and really good on the park. So great result for them. That's 2 wins in a row against that NW United League and Cup.
Yeah.
So girls really good
And then,
performance.
but now they take on Kashmir Tech.
Which is a completely different animal.
Yeah, and saying that, I watched quite a chunk of their previous game against Kashmir Tech, and they were right in that. Like,
Girls are good.
I think it was 1-0 for quite a period, and Suburbs actually had a couple of nice chances to get back in. Obviously, overrun a little bit late, but
Yeah.
the magic of the cup. Who knows?
No, that's right.
Girls will be up for it. They've got nothing to lose. At the end of the day, you got to go down in the cup, that mentality, and just try to. The longer the game goes 0-0, the more pressure goes on Cash Tech.
Yeah.
And the girls have got a few players back from America who had a bit of depth and a bit of class. And yeah, Tessa Hyland, who's one of them, who scored 4 goals in 2 games. So she'll be up for it and wanting to prove a point against Tech next weekend. So yeah, we wish them all the best.
Geez, that did a long run last year, didn't you?
Yeah.
That was quite.
I think we're still not happy about it.
No, I know he's still recovering.
Yeah.
He'll be saying to Skippy, look, mate,
Yeah.
let's give it a rest this year.
You do have to question the funding model from New Zealand
yeah.
football, and I know that
Yeah.
you sort of stay in that nearest neighbour kind of situation. And I know in the Southern League at the moment, the sort of Dunedin sides have played each other. I'm not sure how drawn that is, but yeah, with those away trips to Auckland at 2 weeks' notice, like, geez,
Oh, yeah.
that's a lot of subscriptions to pay for a trip like that as a club, isn't it?
Wasn't it 10K
Well, we got
or-
foils last year in the in the 5th round, which is the one after this, and Air New Zealand was something like 19 grand.
Oh.
So we ended up chartering a flight with Origin Air, who helped us out a bit.
Oh, yes, that's right.
And then we got Auckland away in the next one.
Yeah, that's
And
right.
that was 20 something.
Yeah.
To be fair, New Zealand football give us some money towards that, but
Yeah.
not a lot.
No, I think once you get to, if you get near semis or they should kick
It's
it. I
always
mean,
dead. I think that they should. I know it's the magic of the cup, but just make the entry fee
Yeah.
more and put it in a big pot.
yeah,
And keep it to the sort of 4th round and help those teams out.
It's
Yeah.
probably not the only sport like that, though. I suppose anything that travels onto a champion of champions or those sort of nationally qualifying tournaments, the costs are.
It's a dear trophy.
Well, one
Yeah.
day. Well, look, the thing is, one day, someone's going to say, "Sorry, we can't do that round."
Well, it's a fine. It's like a 10 grand fine if you
Wow.
don't play.
So,
That's crazy.
Yeah.
But yeah.
okay. So, results from the men's premier division locally: Tahuna doing the goods over the Golden Bay Goats, aren't they? The
The
Goats.
Mountain Goats, yeah.
2-1 over the hill. So that's a pretty good result.
Yeah, keep grafting away to Huna.
Yeah.
The job done. As Brendan said, it's only round 1, guys.
Yeah, the Goats there were probably I see they're sort of down the bottom of the table, but a proud bunch from over there.
Well, they always put up a good.
Yeah, they,
They
do.
do, yeah.
They work
But
hard.
I just don't think they're doing 90 minutes.
Yeah.
That's the feedback. Every so often they play good in parts, and then
Yeah.
they just don't.
Hazer said that as
They're
well.
not
Said it was
quite the
tough.
finished article.
First 15
Yeah.
minutes, and
Yeah.
then they sort of hit a wall and they sort of
Yeah.
ran over the top of them. But yeah, good result for Tahuna. Keeps them top of the league.
And here's a big one. I mean, Richmond, young side, getting the draw against Rangers. What a fantastic result for them. They'll be wrapped. Would have been a great atmosphere at Richmond on the weekend.
Yeah, yeah, would have been. That's a great result for them. And said young side, they've been up and down so far, and Rangers seem to be. I don't know what's going on there.
Yeah, they have had a few personnel changes, Rangers, and I see Wolfie has the reports on the Marlborough app, and it's all well and good when they're flying, but there's a few excuses coming out at the moment. So obviously, we love to hate the nearest neighbour, and
Well, they're a younger side now, aren't
There's a
they?
lot
they
younger.
certainly are. Yeah.
Yeah.
Very much so. And
Yeah.
hopefully they can keep the young boys involved and
Yeah.
keep pushing, and it's more of a project and not just season by season. So
Well, it doesn't get any easier for the Goats. They've got to go over the hill to take on Rangers.
At Guppy Park.
yes, Neil Park, it's been moved.
Oh, the
Yeah.
meeting in the middle.
Yeah.
Are they?
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, hang on. Didn't Rangers have to go to Golden Bay?
They played at Richmond.
Oh, did they?
Yep. So they had an agreement on this at the start of the year, I think, that they'd play their games in Nelson.
That's a terrific piece of common sense.
Yeah.
Because like we don't like
Yeah.
going over either hill. Imagine having to do both.
But then they have to
No,
travel.
they made them do it for the cup. So
Uh-huh.
when they drew them in the Channel Cup, Blenheim had to go the whole way because they wanted them to have a club day.
Oh,
But the league games are in
Oh,
Nelson.
and that's fair. Yeah.
Yeah. So the league games are in Nelson.
Ah,
That's a
Okay.
big day though.
Oh, it's a huge day.
on both sides.
Yeah.
exactly. Exactly.
Meet in the middle and then the bus trip
Yeah.
back.
Yeah.
Tahuna taking on FC Nelson now. Last time Tahuna had a home ground advantage. They actually tipped up FC. So are they going to do that again?
Well, they'll probably need a couple of kayaks, some water wings
Yes,
for
that's
down there on
right.
Saturday, the way it looks at the moment. But
Is it going to rain Saturday, is it?
yeah, Tahuna, it's flooded at the moment, I think. If you
Right.
go past it. But
Right.
if the game goes ahead, I think the conditions will probably favour Tahuna. You would say if it's a bit wet and a bit choppy, Davor's
What is
boys
that
do
pitch
like
further on down towards Tahuna Camp?
it's too small. That
Is
one.
it?
It's quite narrow.
Particularly narrow.
The other one, do they still have pitches at Nawa too? That was the other one. Or the other one.
They use Nawa too. We share it with them. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So I think they'll want that on Tahuna S1, I would say.
Yeah.
That can-
Who did you have in the Rangers Golden Bay fixture there, Skippy? I don't know if we
Oh,
were.
sorry. I'm going to go Rangers.
Yeah, I think I'll stick with Rangers. They're
Yeah.
back to their winning ways. But I agree with you. Tahuna at the moment, especially like they're quite physical and they're obviously quite a like united team. You see on the socials, they're a pretty tight knit bunch, and Dave Turner's doing a good job with them. So I think they're going to rise to the challenge there, and they've got a bit of momentum. But this is a big fixture
Yeah, it's huge.
in the context of their
Huge
season.
game.
I mean, it's probably almost season defining, isn't it? I
Well,
mean,
the thing is, if our boys get a win against Richmond as well, puts everyone right back
Yeah.
at that, right back in. So for us as a club, 1-1 draw would be fantastic for Suburbs.
so is that what you're picking?
Yeah.
So,
No, I just fancy Tahuna.
You
I
do?
just think the weather we've had during the week, the pitch isn't going to be a great deck to get the ball down and play. And Davor's young boys are very good technically, but in the eye of the storm with boys like Big James and set pieces being key, Tahuna could bully them a little bit there.
Yeah, I'm going to go against you there. I think that FC Nelson dropping back in company. You know, they've had the Group 1 last weekend against an SPL side.
yeah.
They're going to find this one a little bit easier going, and I think that just blows the league to bits there as well. That's sort of obviously they have got a couple of games in hand, FC as well, I believe. So
Yeah.
I think Darville's boys will do the job there.
Just a bit of transfer news on Tahuna.
Yeah.
Big signing during the week. Nat Payne is donning the stripes of the sky blue and white and will hopefully be in the squad for this weekend.
Oh well, there you go.
So there you
Well,
go.
I've already
Off the press.
he could have mentioned that before I'd gone against him, but right.
Yeah, it's good.
Okay. And then we've got Suburbs Reserve side taking on Richmond. They're traveling pretty well, but, Richmond coming off a good result against Rangers. So,
Yeah, Geezer's boys are going well at the moment. Unfortunately, every team they seem to play, we play in the Chatham Cup, so they don't play for a round, which is quite frustrating for those young boys. They've now missed 2 games because we played Rangers, we played FC, so they didn't have the game at the weekend. But they'll be raring to go, haven't trained all week, so they'll be looking forward to Saturday and getting on the paddock. And I think he'll have a strong squad for Saturday with us playing on Sunday.
Yeah, I think they'll do the job there, and obviously the Seals were kind enough to give 3 boys a run at the weekend on a reclassified basis. So,
Yep.
so that's 3 with some running in the legs. They did all the running.
Yeah, it's good.
in the women's premiership, we've got the Shield Maidens 0-0 with the Foxes. So
Yeah.
it's all starting to even out a bit. And
Yeah.
I do believe, inside knowledge, that the Foxes have had 2 or 3 players not in the picture. I don't know whether it's through injury or away. So they're still a good side, but things are evening up a bit there. Cougars doing it strong against Motueka Angels 8-0. Your first 11, Suburbs first 11, 9-0 against Wakefield. Tahuna women 5-0 over the FC Nelson Diamonds. And
Told you, Garen girls.
geez,
Told you they were
the second 11 Nelson
being
Suburbs
good. Told you
1
they would
over
come
the
good.
Swans.
Yeah.
So is this some ring-ins or
No.
is this just them?
Fitness.
Right.
I actually haven't seen that score. That was the first time I've seen it. So
Right.
That's a brilliant result for those young girls.
Ah.
That's
Yep.
the director of football there. He's keeping up to speed with
Yeah.
things, isn't he?
I'd seen the other ones, but I hadn't seen that one. So a little bit surprised by the margin, but good group of young girls working hard.
Unless it's a typo and we'll get slated.
Might be. We'll find it in the comments, but yeah.
Okay, well done to them. Marpur Cougars taking on the Shield Maidens. What a game this is. That is at Marpur Domain.
Yeah, the maidens are going well at the moment. I know Mapu have had a couple of really good results. They lost 3-2 to Foxes 2 weeks ago, so they're going quite well. But yeah, I think the maidens, young girls, too quick, too fit. I think it'll be a tough day for the Mapu Cougars.
I think a couple of teams on the up there. I'm going to sit in the middle of sit on the fences, just so to speak, and pick a draw there.
Pick a draw. Take one out of Skippy's.
I don't see many draws on the show, you see. So.
Yeah, true.
He picks them all the time.
Just when the ones I don't want to.
So Diamonds versus Wakefield. That it's a home game for the Diamonds.
Yeah, I've got to go Diamonds.
Yeah, I think the Diamonds back to winning ways there.
Okay. We've got Suburbs first 11 taking on Tahuna. That is at Saxton. So
Yeah,
no home ground advantage.
Tahuna are a good side, but Andy Morris and Steve White have got our girls absolutely hissing at the moment and playing well. And yeah, you can see the scoreline. So yeah, I think they'll be too good.
Yeah, I agree with you there, and I think obviously some, the top SPL ladies side getting topped up as well probably sees a player or two go down there, so I'll stick with Suburbs there.
Foxes and the Swans, it's a derby.
The Jubilee Park derby.
I can't see past the Foxes there.
Yeah, I think the Foxes will be pretty disappointed with last week's stalemate. They'll be up for that one.
And the Flying second 11 take on Motueka Angels. That's also at Saxon.
Yeah, I'll go second 11.
Yeah, likewise there.
Okay, and then I've got your next Southern League game against Coastal.
Yep, Sunday.
But you're travelling down?
Yeah, fly down Sunday morning.
You're flying down, right?
Yeah, so because it's in the league. So yeah, tough game. We lost 1-0 in the opener at the start of the season and probably could have done a lot better that day. Missed some chances and were heavily in possession and just didn't take them. So yeah, we'll go down and try to get back to winning ways and just take every game as they come now for us. Our seasons, we've got to concentrate on every fixture individually now and not worry about league position and stuff like that and just concentrate on our performances. But after the cup game, we take a little bit of momentum in. We had a great training session on Tuesday at the Stoke Curry House, so that went well. And
morale booster.
Bit of morale, get the boys around and bit of indoor football probably tonight and ready to go on Sunday.
Didn't you ask last year? Dave coached the women, didn't he? And he took them to a curry house.
Yeah.
And you asked who bought the curries.
Yeah.
And they said he made us pay.
Yeah, I didn't buy the curries. No, the boys paid for the curries.
And so, how did Coastal go in the cup? They had Northern. Did that go to extra time?
No, that was the league. That was a catch-up game.
Yeah.
They scored late to win 2-1.
Okay.
Yeah, so Coastal got knocked out of the cup.
All right. Yes, I did see that game. That was it Sunday or Monday?
Monday.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, now they're coming off the back of a good win against Northern down south, so they'll be up for the game. But yeah, we'll go down there and shake the birdcage a little bit.
Yeah, I think you'll get up in that one, Skippy.
Thanks, mate.
Nice. And the women are playing at home. Is that on
Sunday? Oh no, sorry. This has been. It was down as a fixture for Saturday. They got the flights wrong. It's Sunday. It's either that way or the other way around.
Right.
All right.
This weekend.
Wide weekend. Yeah, I'm nearly sure it's Sunday.
So that's against Roslyn Wakari. So would they fancy themselves against Roslyn?
I think the form they're in, and I think the players have got back from the States. I think they're gonna be quite a hard team to beat here. Yeah,
stick with you there.
Okay, with the round ball game, it's going to be paradise for a lot of players, and you won't see much of them. Actually, you could bring a few blankets down here, couldn't you, and just live down here for a couple of weeks?
Don't tempt me.
What's it go for, like?
Yeah, it's an absolute feast for the eyes,
isn't it? Now, the All Whites have headed over there and been doing some training in the heat of Florida, and then took on Haiti. Now, the crowd, I didn't see any All Whites in the crowd at all in the warm-up. They're all Haiti. There's something like 500, did they say 500?
Yeah, I read that, yeah.
Haitians in Florida.
Yeah.
And we're 89th or something, and they're 83rd.
Yeah.
And they just looked a different class to us. They were twice the size of us, more physical, more skillful. We didn't even look in it.
I think when you talked about the heat,
the first half,
we just looked like we struggle with just the temperature of the place. You looked at some of the lads and the tops were sticking to them. They looked tired, especially in the middle of the second half. Some of them looked like they're out on their feet.
Well, when it comes to the World Cup, there's going to be some other sides that's going to affect as well.
100%.
But obviously, on a horses for courses basis, this was a home game for them, wasn't it? So,
yeah.
But I do think that if we're serious about getting out of the group stage, probably we'll have to improve on that result, Chris.
I mean, physically, I just thought we looked really small.
They were big boys,
weren't they?
They were.
And really skillful. And now I didn't see the first half, and apparently we played a
We
lot
were better in the first half, yeah.
And also, our shots on target weren't there, were they? Yeah, we had a few
Not really.
attempts.
Yeah.
So I think
Didn't look overly threatening.
possibly if we were, got a couple of those in, it might have been slightly differently. But just as the game went on, they took their chances. And then that third one, I mean, you'd have to question the keeper not coming out and challenging for that.
Yeah, I think those situations are about confidence as well. And it was sort of like you've got to have some clarity going into the World Cup in terms of what you're doing as a goalkeeper.
And it would have been totally foreign for them. I mean, in the heat of Florida, playing against Haiti, I don't even know if they've played them before. The whole stadium full of people from Haiti, and what an atmosphere.
A lot of changes as well at halftime. I think the England game, you'll probably get a little bit more of a clearer look at what the team's going to look like for the first game.
The young boys, when they come on, played better because they pressured them.
Yeah.
Well, they've got a point to prove as well, I suppose, haven't they? But not everyone's got 5 million Instagram followers like Tim Payne, though. Isn't that an interesting story?
And we'll talk about that. But the next thing is we've got England in the next friendly. I mean, what's going to happen there?
I think, as I said,
do you think it's in us to at least compete after?
I think he has to. I think he has to pick the team he thinks is going to start the first game of the competition. I think that has to be the main thing. And you got to leave them out there. You need to, as Brendan says, you need to have an understanding of how we're going to play and how we're going to look. And I think playing against England, a top side, that will give you the best picture of where you're at. So I don't think he'll approach it like he did and make loads of changes at halftime. I think the 11 you see start on Sunday is probably the 11 you're going to see the first game of this competition.
Yeah, I think that's a fair point. You wonder if almost that first game is sort of treated like a little bit of a barrier trial, get people acclimatized to the heat, get some running in the legs and things like that. But yeah, well, I suppose we're going to have to see some stick-to-itiveness, as Casey Frank would say. Like, we're going to have to work something out.
Well, here's the thing, because I watched that. It was a documentary on Dave Beckham was captain. England got knocked out in the quarters and penalties to Portugal, and they all got they stayed away in a hotel out the spotlight, and all their wives got all the press, because they were going out in the town. And the poor performances, their wives were getting all the blame. But here's the thing: the amount of pressure that team was under to perform well, and they didn't perform well, right up until that game against Portugal, and that was a tough match, and they went down on penalties. But the start for England, with the side they've got, there'll be a lot of pressure, as with that squad, that they could win it. And it's against New Zealand.
Yeah.
So they're going to cop it if they don't perform well.
Well, also, like, he's gone out on a limb a little bit with the side, like in terms of from an English perspective. Like, in years gone by, it's like they've picked teams that sell shirts in some ways. It's the big names out of the big clubs, and he's sort of obviously left some big names back home in this English side as well. So obviously,
and he's been open. He said, "I'm going to be different, and I'm going to pick players on form." And it might not be the players that people want, but he's put his hand up and says, "This is the way I'm going to do it."
Yeah, because part of the commentary on that documentary was how they felt that other sides like Spain and Italy and those players had to fight to get into those sides, and there was a camaraderie. Whereas England, you got picked on name.
Yep.
And
most of them are coming out of the top 4 or 5 clubs.
They didn't gel.
Yeah.
But what I'm concerned about is that, geez, this could be 10-0 if England need to prove a point. Are we that bad?
No, we're not.
No, I don't think we'll set ourselves up to get beat.
No, we're not. We're not that bad.
Margin.
As I said, it'll be a dress rehearsal for the first game, so it's going to be based on defence and being set up well not to concede, and then look to play on the break or set pieces and use those as opportunities to score. But I think when we do set up like that, we're actually quite good at it. I think we've proven that in the past.
I'm just basing on what I saw, and we were pants.
I suspect it might be a similar scoreline, but I would hope that we go about it a little bit better.
Yeah. I hope. I hope.
You don't really want to get battered a week out.
Yeah, exactly.
No, you don't. You don't.
You don't.
But I hope we put up a better performance, that's for sure. World Cup not too far away, so who are you picking, Hottie?
I think Spain for me.
Spain.
Yeah. Just Unbelievable depth as well.
They've got loads of players. I'm still sticking with France.
He still wants France.
I fancy.
What about yourself, mate?
Oh,
Go New Zealand.
absolutely. Yeah, that's right. New
New
Zealand.
Zealand?
It's going to be the miracle.
Yep.
The miracle. There'll be documentaries about it
Yeah.
for decades, you know.
Who do you fancy though?
Oh, I have absolutely no idea because I don't follow the current international form,
Yeah.
but I think England's got a chance, but I think when it comes down to, I mean, I'd love to see obviously Brazil do well again.
Yeah.
I don't know if Argentina might pull it off again, but I think you're right. I just think the football that Spain play.
They're incredible.
In those tight spaces, you've got those big solid French lads and they're fantastic players and physical and great in the air. But when you've got two players against three players in a tight corner, Spain,
You can't get the ball off them.
you can't get the ball off them.
It's interesting though. You touch
No.
on no one can really follow the international form because globally the game's so different as well.
I mean, Germany look quite good.
yeah,
in
but
the friendly I saw.
You have a stack of friendlies, and then obviously you play sort of amongst your own federation. And it's until you get those sort of the different styles and the different flares drifting over.
I don't know what it's like to play an African side.
No,
and play one.
no, that's
And
right.
that's so different.
Well, and that's the other thing I'm looking forward to. What underdog's going to come through? I mean, from what I could see of Haiti, they could cause a gun up
They
or
look- they
two.
look decent,
They look
yeah.
a decent side.
You've still got teams like Croatia that no one really talks
Yeah.
about. You got Czech Republic, and the quality's there.
Yeah.
It's how you manage
But
it.
also, if you look at like the global stars that are sort of emerging, like they're not all just from your
Exactly.
mainstream countries either.
Exactly.
So
Yeah.
there's it's certainly an open affair, and obviously like the tournament just gets bigger and bigger.
And
Doesn't
the
it?
new format, you can come third and you're in, and
Now, did
so
Messi get picked again?
I was about to ask that question because I'm unsure if he's there.
Yeah.
I was pretty sure
Yeah.
I saw a headline.
He
that
is. Right.
Pretty
Okay.
sure, yeah.
Wasn't sure.
So you
So Uruguay left out Suarez,
Yeah. Well, he can't run at the moment.
Yeah.
Poor bugger.
but
Looking forward to it. It's going to be awesome.
that will be neat.
And
Yeah.
we'll be talking more about it next week because it's all
on.
11th, isn't it? Kicking off next
Yeah.
week.
The first game is Mexico on
Yeah.
the Friday. I think it is Friday morning,
Yeah, right.
7 a.m.
So there you go.
Yeah.
All right, Hottie. Well, fantastic to have you in, mate.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Joyful. And a lot of sporting knowledge here. We'll
yeah.
have to get him in as a regular.
Try going for a pint with him, mate.
Maybe we could do one live.
Well, we've talked about it.
Yeah, I think you've got me in the turf today when it's they're not serving, so that's probably a safe play.
Yeah,
But
that's right.
obviously, we've got a test match to look forward to tonight from Lords.
Oh,
as well,
yes,
so,
yes. Forgot to mention
Yeah,
that.
we won't press on them with that too much, but yeah,
Now-
like the home of cricket, isn't it?
We're feeling pretty buoyant with our strike attack, aren't we? I mean, they're talking it up.
Oh.
Apart from the injuries, we haven't really seen Jameson. You got, was it Rourke?
O'Rourke and Henry,
Rourke,
yeah.
Yes, isn't it?
There is, but we've never seen them for long enough because they keep
No.
getting injured.
Injured.
But also,
So,
I suppose like Henry played second fiddle to the Saudi Bolt Wagner for so long. Like he's like sort of 33, 34, and realistically, we're probably looking back now, going as good as those guys were. Like we've missed this guy's prime.
Yeah.
So intriguing fixture.
So what do you think? I mean, after all, I mean, they have been trying to look after them to get their injuries right.
Yeah.
Are we going to see the old Jameson? Are we going to see O'Rourke, which do you think they are going to be on fire?
I think so. I don't think you need too much help getting up for a game at Lords. Do you
Yeah.
really? It's
We brought
Kinda
them
cool.
over to Ireland to give them some confidence in the test
did.
we had in Belfast
Right, that's
to get them in the groove, Anything we can help to beat them.
Yeah, I watched the first two balls of that, and the first one was down the arse, and Latham sort of worked it away for 4, and the next one he shouldered up,
Yeah, he did,
right
he
arm
did.
round, and got knocked over. And Tom Latham's been a lovely Test cricketer, but that right arm round, he leaves a lot more than possibly he
Right,
should
right,
early.
right.
It's a long way to carry your bat just to stick it up in the air, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. Well, yeah, it was a couple of, gave us a bit of a scare early on, but it was really Wagner and Ravinder with it that kicked on, didn't they?
Blundell, yeah.
Oh, sorry, Blundell.
And
Blundell.
he's sort of
Yeah.
taken over from where Watling was as that gritty sort of Test bat. And you feel like they only get runs when they're back against the wall. If we're 350 for 4 or 5, they'll miss out. But when we're 120 for 4 or 5, they dig deep, and it's a sign of a good side at the moment. So and obviously Santner perhaps comes back as well. Who
He does, yeah.
was out of the Test picture 2 or 3 years ago, and then all of a sudden
Back in.
went to the subcontinent, and geez, they just couldn't play him.
Yeah, that's right.
I don't think he's ever turned one, but
There's no.
So Kane Williamson's last Test at Lords.
At Lords,
At
yeah.
Lords. So
So winding down career there.
it is. So, if we look at this England side who's probably battling a bit with confidence, what are we thinking? Do we think we can tip them up, or do we think England's just going to come
We
out?
win the toss. What do? We bowl first.
Yeah, I suspect we will bowl, yeah.
Get at them.
Get at them.
Put them
Yeah.
under pressure.
Yeah.
And
But-
what are they going to do? Are they going to Baz ball it, or are they going to be a bit more measured after all the criticism?
I think they're committed to playing their game in a certain way. I see the new opening batsman they brought in, the lad Gay. He looks quite organised,
Right.
but I think he's going to get his front pad blown up. He's going to be out LBW. There you go.
There you go.
So they just foot movement's not quite there, a bit like myself. But yeah, he does look more of your measured sort of traditional opener. So perhaps there's a bit of a hybrid, guys doing certain jobs and.
Maybe they're all a bit too mixed up.
Yeah,
and
yeah. I won't see my father-in-law now for 5 days. The cricket's on.
Yeah.
I won't see him. Just be a ghost. Cricket's on. Loves the cricket. Loves England. Yeah.
It might be a couple of late nights.
Yeah. He does
Yeah.
enjoy it.
Oh, well, look, it's going to be very interesting, isn't it? All right. Well, thank you very much for coming in, mate.
No, pleasure, mate.
And,
And love the show. Big fan, big following. So yeah, special to be on the couch.
Nice.
Appreciate it.
We'll get you back in for sure.
Yeah.
Got to do a big shout out to Stan and the team at the Turf Hotel, and also MBS for supporting local sport, and of course Talk Nelson podcast. Good luck to all the teams this weekend. Hopefully the rain stays off, so it's not just another wet weekend, and we'll talk to you again next week.
What's on, where, and when. It's the Talk of Nelson. NBS Talk Nelson.